This week on The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
Understanding each other.
They're saying the exact same thing about each other.
You know what? I think it's better that Heather just speaks for herself. And
I agree.
You know, like, I don't feel comfortable. I don't want to get in this game of telephone.
Well, let's
Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the. We're going to be talking about the new episode of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 5, Episode 8. Let's get right into it. Alright, so this episode starts with Lisa and Meredith. They went to go get a massage at a spa. On her way to the salon, Lisa got a phone call from Heather, who's telling her all about this little encounter with Brownwyn at Brownwyn's house. So Lisa and Meredith get their massage, and then Heather meets them there. And Heather tells them that earlier that day, Brownwyn invited her to her house. Now, Heather's perception is this. She invited me to her house to tell me how crappy of a person I am. And Heather says she basically told me that she was waiting to see if she could include me in her trip. She apologized, but I never heard an apology. I never heard a sorry. Then she told me what I had to apologize for, and she was making no sense. She lacks self-awareness. She's crazy. So that's what Heather said. Now listen, I didn't take it like that, but obviously Heather took it in the worst possible way. But wait, you guys, Lisa is also a little mad at Brownwyn too, because when Lisa got the call for the trip, like the invitation, Brownwyn asked Lisa if she and John would be okay that Justin and Whitney were also invited. Which again, I find this normal and there's no hurt behind that. But here Lisa is also taking it the wrong way, thinking that Brownwyn was insinuating that Lisa and John created the problem. So she needs to defend her and her husband's integrity. I mean, what a spin. Meredith, on the other hand, is not excited for the trip because, not because of Brownwyn, but because of Angie and her husband. Meredith says that Sean, Angie's husband, went on a podcast and said that Meredith was using Brooks, her son, as a pawn for Meredith's wrongdoing. I'm a little confused what that means. Apparently, Meredith brought this up at Angie's party to Sean, but Sean simply said, "That's how I felt." Again, I'm confused. Like, what does Brooks have to do with this? I'm not understanding, but we can already see that this is going to be a messy trip. So then we see Brownwyn. She's packing and she gets a call from her husband who is in Korea. Remember, he works internationally, but he'll go from Korea to the trip. Mary told Brownwyn she wouldn't be able to make it, which I think kind of makes sense. And of course, Heather and Brittany are not invited. We then see Angie and Sean packing, and Angie thinks that it'll be fun, but she's in the odds with Lisa and says that Lisa has been very mean to her. And Sean says, yeah, and you've let her get away with it a lot too. Justin and Whitney are packing, and Justin says that he thinks he'll be okay with John. Like, they've squashed it, but he's not really sure about John suggesting to him that he should apologize to Lisa. And Whitney even says, no, Lisa owes you an apology. Finally, Lisa and John are seen packing, and Lisa says that she thinks the trip will be fine, but she starts to cry when she tells John about the lunch she had with her sister and when they talked about her son and how Angie's comments really affected her. So the next morning, they all get going. Brownwyn got them a private jet. It was nice. She had gifts for them, food, and they arrive at Palm Springs. You can already feel a divide in the group, though. Just by even looking at the way they got divided in the vehicles to the place they were staying in. One car was Angie, Brownwyn, Whitney, and their husbands, and in the other it was Lisa, Meredith, and their husbands. Brownwyn is super upset though, because when they were in the plane before they landed, she tried to explain to Lisa what went down with her and Heather. But Lisa didn't really want to listen to her. She kind of quickly cut her off and started defending Heather. And Brownwyn felt bad that Lisa didn't want to give the time of day to listen to her side and for her to jump to defend Heather so fast. So the house was amazing though. It was like a ranch, like a pool and a pond and even stables with horses, a volleyball court with sand. It was just huge. The couples are looking for their rooms, but there is tension, you guys. Strong tensions, and again, you can feel this divide. As everybody's getting settled in, a jeweler came in to show Bronwyn some pieces, and her husband's gonna buy her one for their anniversary. They were expensive. Angie and Sean were playing volleyball, and the ball went to the pond, and it was funny seeing them try to get that. So the Barlows and the Marks are hanging out in one side of the house. And then Seth tells Meredith that he's going to have to leave early to Ohio for some work stuff. And Meredith was not happy about it. Listen, I don't know why, but something about that felt fake. I don't know if they planned this out so they could have some more camera time. I don't know. But let's just pretend that it's real. Meredith says that she wants her husband to be with her because it is a couple's trip after all. And this is bringing back problems that they've had in the past. But as the day continues, still a lot of tension. Lisa's expecting an apology from Justin, but Whitney is expecting an apology from Lisa to Justin. The husbands seem to be okay. They're just hanging out. They're playing. The women then get in the pool all together. And then Lisa says, has anyone checked on Heather? Clearly she was being messy. And Meredith says, yeah, I miss her. And Whitney says, well, I heard that Brownwyn really tried to invite her and she tried to work it out, but it didn't go well. Lisa says, well, that's not what I heard. That's not what Heather said. I don't think anyone should be speaking for her. She should speak for herself. Okay. I mean, you brought her up. Then Lisa and Meredith decide to call Heather. Now, you can't be that damn dumb. They knew what they were doing. So they're FaceTiming her. And Brownwyn comes back because she was in the bathroom when this conversation was being had. So when she sees who's on the phone, she's just confused. When Lisa hangs up, Brownwyn says, I invited Heather with good intentions for her to come, but I mean, it seems a little shady that you called her. Meredith says, well, we're just sad that she's not here. And Brownwyn says, okay, I get that, but Lisa clearly believes Heather over me. She says to Lisa that when someone talks poorly about Lisa, she as a friend does not just sit there and listen. And Lisa says, well, Heather was just explaining herself. She wasn't talking bad about you. And Brownwyn says, do you not believe that I invited Heather to my house to fix things? Do you think I called her to fight with her? Lisa says, don't put words in my mouth. Bronwyn's whole point that she's trying to get across, though, is that when she hears somebody talk poorly of Lisa, she defends Lisa. But it's clearly not the same with Lisa with her. She says, you've never checked in on me. When Brittany and Heather have gone off on me, you've never checked on me. Meredith tries to defend Lisa, but Brownwyn again says, listen, you don't have to defend me. But don't come trying to advocate for Heather, and then the moment I go to the bathroom, you're FaceTiming her. And Lisa says, well, you didn't check in on me when Whitney came at me at the party. And Brownwyn says, no, I did check on you, and I checked on you and John. Brownwyn says that Heather is clearly the problem, and that's why she doesn't understand why they're defending her. Lisa says, well, I don't want to get involved in it. She's not here. You and her should figure it out. And Brownwyn says, oh, wait a minute. So when you and Whitney fight, you're expecting me to check on you. But when Heather and I fight, you expect me to work it out with her. That's a double standard that's hypocritical. That makes no sense. She even tells Lisa, you want me to ride your D like it's my job. And then she storms out. She goes inside of the house. Whitney goes to check on Brownwyn. Whitney's just listening to Brownwyn. She's not really taking sides per se, but she understands why Brownwyn is annoyed at Lisa for what she's doing. And then Todd comes in. Todd's like a grumpy grandpa, and he says to Brownwyn, I told you I wasn't gonna do this. Either they leave or I leave. We'll give them some money to get in a car and they can leave. And Brownwyn says, okay, I guess I'll tell them. So Todd says, I'm not doing this all weekend. So then he goes outside to talk to John and says, I'm not going to sit here an entire weekend and listen to people fight. So Lisa has to go. Damn. So John says, okay, I'll go talk to Lisa. John says to her, well, Todd just told me that if you can't settle it with her, he wants us to go. And that's where the episode ended. Oh, wow. I was not well, yeah, I mean, we had already seen from the trailer, but did I think Todd was being a little dramatic? I mean, yeah, does he not know what show this is? Of course, there's going to be fights. I don't think Lisa will end up leaving. I don't think that. But we'll see what happens. But what are y'all's thoughts about Todd wanting him to get out? And what are y'all's thoughts when it comes to Brownwyn saying to Lisa that she's not being as good as friend as she has been? So let me know in the comments, you guys. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next week. We'll have a great one. Bye.